Contact Granite Mountain 7.
Okay, Granite Mountain 7 sounds like they got some trouble. Go ahead and get that.
I'm here on Granite Mountain Hotshots. Our escape route has been cut off. We are preparing a deployment site. We're burning out around ourselves in the brush. And I'll give you a call when we are under the shelters.
They were men who carried out their duties with honor, worthy of the name Granite Mountain Hotshots.
The American West is defined by its vast beauty and its inherent danger. And in the sprawling wilderness of Arizona, the greatest danger is fire. In the U.S., over the past 20 years, the amount of land area burned each year has increased as wildfires have grown larger and larger. When the mountains start to burn, average measures simply don't work. You need a different kind of weapon. You need boots on the ground. On June 30th, 2013, 20 men hiked into the Yarnell Hill area to fight an ever-growing blaze. 19 of them never came home. They were fathers, husbands, sons, and brothers. They were the Granite Mountain Hotshots, and this is their story. To understand the tragedy of Yarnell Hill, you first have to understand what a hotshot is. In the world of wildfire, they are the special forces. Hotshots, elite and highly trained members of an interagency hotshot crew, are deployed to the most hazardous and complex fires. These crews undertake challenging tasks such as building fire lines, controlling hotspots, and employing advanced tactics in extreme conditions. Hotshots are distinguished by their exceptional physical fitness, extensive knowledge of fire behavior, and readiness for rapid deployment. They often work long shifts in remote areas to suppress major wildfires. Hotshot crews are considered the most highly trained, skilled, and experienced wildland firefighters alongside smoke jumpers. Their primary weapon isn't water, it's muscle. They fight fire with dirt. They hike miles carrying 50 pounds of gear, then spend 16 hours a day swinging heavy tools to dig a line down to mineral soil, robbing the fire of fuel. They sleep on the ground and at times eat nothing but MREs for 2 weeks straight. Now, becoming a hotshot is no easy feat. They are highly selective about who they take on, and you must be in peak physical condition. For many, your hotshot crew becomes your second family. These crews develop strong bonds, relying on each other while performing in high-stress and dangerous situations. In the western United States, wildfires are experiencing a significant increase in severity. This increase is attributed to several factors, primarily human-induced climate change. The changing climate has led to longer fire seasons, larger burned areas, increased fire intensity, and earlier fire starts. Since the mid-1980s, the area burned annually has increased substantially, and recent research has directly linked this trend to rising temperatures and increased atmospheric dryness. Eric Shane Marsh was born and raised in the mountains of North Carolina. He graduated with honors from Ashe Central High, where he was a running back on the football team. He then went on to graduate from Appalachian State with a degree as a biologist and worked and excelled at several jobs. But the one he really loved was wildland firefighting. He worked for several years with the Globe Hotshots out of Tonto National Forest. Eric had a strong passion for the outdoors. He was a fisherman, a motorcyclist, and an avid mountain biker who competed in numerous endurance mountain bike races throughout his life. In 2003, Eric Marsh joined the Prescott Fire Department Woodland Division. At the time, Prescott had a fuels mitigation team that had formed in 2001. Eric Marsh would make it his mission to take that crew and turn them into a Hotshots unit. In 2004, the group became what is known as a Type 2 Initial Attack Hand Crew. A Type 2 IA is a highly capable 18 to 20 person team of wildland firefighters skilled in constructing fire lines, burning out areas, and mop-up, with the unique ability to split into smaller squads for simultaneous initial attack on multiple fires or tasks. From 2004 to 2007, Eric Marsh trained and pushed his crew, hoping to one day be given a chance at being certified as a hotshot crew. In 2007, that dream would be realized as they were granted IHC trainee status. In 2008, they achieved full certification as a Type 1 interagency hotshot crew. This was a pretty big deal, as the Granite Mountain Hotshots would become the very first municipal wildland firefighting crew to achieve elite hotshot status in the United States. Now, typically, hotshot crews operated under federal and state agencies. The Granite Mountain Hotshots were the first to operate under a city fire department. The citizens of Prescott, Arizona were very proud of their hotshot crew. And for context, Prescott is a historical mountain town with a population of around 45,000 residents located roughly 100 miles north of Phoenix, Arizona. It is celebrated for its Victorian architecture, Old West history, and clear four-season climate. From 2008 to 2013, Prescott's Granite Mountain Hotshots were sent virtually everywhere to assist in fighting wildfires. During this time, they became well known as one of the hardest working teams out there, and to some, they were the best. Their rigorous training and strong camaraderie made them the gold standard. They built their reputation from the ground up, becoming known for their grit and determination, not privilege. Which now brings us to June 28, 2013. A dry lightning strike ignites the chaparral near Yarnell. For 2 days, it's relatively quiet, but the area is suffering from extreme drought and the temperatures are soaring above triple digits. For context, Yarnell, Arizona is a small town of only 649 residents located 35 miles southwest of Prescott. The initial strategy for the Yarnell Hill Fire was full suppression, with air tankers dropping retardant to halt the spread. Initially, the fire seemed under control, but over the course of the next few days, it increased in intensity. On June 29th, the tankers did their job as the fire was contained to around 2 acres. Overnight, the fire grew to around 200 acres, and on June 30, 2013, the Granite Mountain Hotshots were called in. Their job was to establish an anchor point and fire line on the south side of the fire. To better understand, an anchor point is a safe, strong location, like a road or stream, used as a starting base to build a fire line, which is a cleared strip of land that stops or slows the fire's spread, preventing firefighters from being surrounded. Fire lines are built by scraping away fuel down to mineral soil with tools or machinery, creating a barrier to control the blaze. The Granite Mountain Hotshots would begin work on the south end of the fire, not far from where the fire had initially started. At the time, the winds and fire were moving away from the crew. As they worked, one member of the crew was placed at a vantage point to monitor the situation while the Granite Mountain crew continued to work. At the anchor point, the fire was active, but the Granite Mountain crew continued to work, moving with the fire and keeping things on their end under control. Throughout the day, the fire grows to 300 acres and is still actively moving away from the Granite Mountain Hotshot team. At around 3:50 p.m. that afternoon, the wind shifts and starts forcing the fire back towards the south. The Granite Mountain lookout, Brendan McDonough, reports to his team that the fire is closing in on his location. He radios that he is leaving his vantage point and moving back and away from the blaze. Brendan would begin hiking out on foot. As he did, he was located by Brian Frisbee, the superintendent of the Blue Ridge Hotshots. Brian and Brendan would work together to move the crew's vehicles to a safer location. At roughly 4:30 p.m., the winds intensified to up to 50 miles per hour. The fire, which had been moving away from Yarnell all day, had turned back on itself. It became a firestorm, moving incredibly fast through the dry, unburned fuel that was the land outside Yarnell. During this time, many assumed the Granite Mountain Hotshots had remained safe within what's known as the Black. In wildland firefighting, the Black, or the burn, refers to the area where the fire has already burned and consumed the available fuels. Firefighters are often advised to keep one foot in the Black or attack from the Black, because generally, the fire will not burn the same area again since the fuel has been removed. This makes it a relatively safer location to work from or an escape route if conditions change. Now, it's unknown what Eric Marsh was thinking at the time, but as Brendan McDonough moved out of the area, there was a 30-minute period where the Granite Mountain Hotshots began moving out of the Black and towards their safe fallback area, which was a nearby ranch. No one knows the exact route they took, but it's believed that they moved along the ridgeline, watching the fire as they closed in on the ranch location. The ranch didn't appear far away, so the team left the ridgeline and dropped down into the valley below. The problem with this decision is that once they dropped down, they no longer could see or monitor the fire. They were effectively blind. Now, there's a lot of controversy about why Eric Marsh made this decision and about why it wasn't clearly radioed in. There are numerous theories, the first being that Marsh's goal was to move the crew down the canyon to the town of Yarnell to assist with structure protection efforts. He may have calculated it as a risky decision, but a necessary one in order to save lives and property. Another belief is that the crew was tired, hungry, and low on water after long shifts, and the decision to move was an attempt to get off the mountain quickly to a ranch safety zone where they could rest and re-engage the fire the very next day. But the biggest controversy would come to light 7 months after the dust had settled. It was reported that Brendan McDonough had confided in Darrell Willis, the former chief of wildland fires for the city of Prescott. In the conversation, he revealed that Eric Marsh had ordered his second-in-command, Jesse Steed, to move the crew down to the ranch. At the time, Eric Marsh was scouting ahead and had already made it to the ranch location. He then ordered Jesse to move the crew from the black, and Jesse had argued the dangers in this decision. Some say the radio communication was heated before Marsh gave him a direct order. Now, I want to be clear, there was no recording of this conversation, and as of now, no one knows for sure why this decision was made. In the end, the crew made their move and dropped into the canyon. As they made their way towards the ranch, the firestorm continued tearing across the land, with winds around 50 miles per hour fueling its intensity. The crew would not reach the ranch, as the wall of fire began making its way in their direction. At this point, the fire was moving so fast, there was nothing for the Granite Mountain Hotshots to do. They couldn't turn around, and they couldn't make it to the ranch.
Breaking in on Moubtain 16! Granite Mountain Hotshots, we are further to fire front!
Got fire right over here now.
Bravo 3-3 operation. You copying that on air ground?
Air down. 16, Granite Mountain, air attack. How do you read?
So, is Granite Mountain still in there?
Well, they're in a safety.
Air attack. Granite Mountain 7, how do you copy me?
Is that Eric? Or Granite Mountain?
I hear saws running. That's not good.
Is that when they're in safety?
Operations, Bravo 3-3, is copying that traffic on air to ground.
Yeah.
3 operations on air to ground. Okay, yeah, I was copying a little bit of that conversation on air to ground. We'll do the best we can. We got the Type 1 helicopters ordered back in. We'll see what we can do.
Attack! Granite Mountain 7!
This ain't good.
He's screaming.
Okay, unit that's hollering in the radio, I need you to quit and break operations, Bravo 3-3. Okay, Grand Mountain 7 sounds like they got some trouble. Go ahead and get that, just trying to get you on the radio. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on.
Okay, I'm here with Granite Mountain Hotshots. Our escape route has been cut off. We are preparing a deployment site. We are burning out around ourselves in the brush. And I'll give you a call when we are under the shelters.
Okay, copy that. So you're on the south side of the fire then?
Thanks, firm.
Okay, we're going to bring you the VLAT, okay?
Following this final radio call, Eric Marsh would tell his team to deploy their emergency fire shelters. A fire shelter is a last resort survival tool made of aluminum foil and fiberglass. It is designed to reflect radiant heat, but it cannot withstand direct flame contact for long. The 19 men climbed inside, pressed their faces to the dirt, and waited as the inferno overtook them. At around 6 p.m., the location of the Granite Mountain Hotshots was discovered.
I need you to contact Air 400 to 1021. Advise him I have 19 confirmed fatalities.
The fire had burned over the site intensely at temperatures reaching 2,000 to 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,090 degrees Celsius. All 19 men perished together. It was the greatest loss of firefighter life since September 11th and the worst wildland fire tragedy in 80 years. Only one member survived. Brendan McDonough, the crew's lookout, had been separated to monitor the fire's progress and was narrowly rescued before the winds had shifted. He had lost 19 of his brothers in an instant. The news shattered the community of Prescott and sent shockwaves through the nation. The return of the Granite Mountain 19 to their hometown was met with a 100-mile honor guard of grieving citizens. In the wake of the tragedy, extensive investigations were launched. They studied the weather, the decisions, and the equipment. The lessons learned at Yarnell changed protocols on how crews engage fires during erratic weather conditions. Many, to this day, debate over what went wrong. I understand wanting to point fingers, but this video isn't going to do that. In my eyes, 19 heroes lost their lives on that fateful day in 2013. From what's reported, the Granite Mountain Hotshots were an extremely close group. It's clear that a mistake was made and it cost lives, but hindsight, it's always 20/20. I don't think Eric Marsh would have ever made a decision if he thought it was going to cost them all their lives. But I also don't know the man, so in the end, I think the most important thing that we can do is remember these men as the brave heroes they are. So many husbands, sons, brothers, fathers were lost, and in one of the most horrifying ways possible. It is easy to define these men by how they died, but those who knew them ask that we remember how they lived. They lived with purpose, they lived for each other, and they stood between the fire and the things we hold dear. We remember the Granite Mountain Hotshots. I'd like to take a brief moment to send my deepest condolences to all the families affected by the tragic Yarnell Hill Fire.
Asked a million times, why am I sitting here? And why isn't someone else? Why aren't they sitting here with me?
All men are created equal, but then a few became firefighters. Thank God for you all.
Thank you all for watching. This is not an AI channel. I do all the work here myself, and I would love if you subscribed, hit the like button, and left a comment down below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the Granite Mountain Hotshots, I highly recommend you watch the movie Only the Brave. There's also a book called My Lost Brothers, written by the only survivor, Brendan McDonough. And with that said, I hope to see you all again real soon when we head back into the cellar.